Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Launch Day Shorts podcast. I'm your host, Dean Cvetkoski, a.k.a. WhoDean, and today in studio, we have this absolutely spectacular gentleman. He goes by the name of Rob Panetta, and he is from Lux Property. Is it Lux Property Agents, Lux Property Buyers? Remind me
Lux
again.
Buyers Agents.
Lux Buyers Agents. My dewest apologies, but it's amazing what you guys do. So you're a buyer's agent. You work with you work with investors. You work with people looking to buy a home as well. Is that right? Or
Yeah, absolutely. We sort of work mostly in the residential space, pretty much buying established properties, whether it's a place for them to move into or if they're wanting to build their portfolio and purchase multiple investment properties and then obviously live off their passive income coming into retirement. So yeah, we help all sorts of people.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I feel like it's all sorts of people. So we're talking like even because for me, I feel like the buyer's agent model fits well in with busy property investors. Is that right? So if I'm a property investor and I'm maybe a little too busy, or is it more than just if you're busy?
I think it's become a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? More broad. So pretty much it's time poor professionals. It's people that are unfamiliar with the process of how a property transaction works. You've got downsizers, upsizers, people relocating, expats. So it's all sorts of people from the wealthy to your everyday mum and dad. So we literally help everyone, to be honest.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So what is it? I mean, for me, like, I'm in the game of investing in property, right? Like why would I at what point or why would I hire someone like you to go out and look for property investments, for me and for my portfolio? Like at what point or how would I come to that decision?
Well, ideally, you would come to me for your first property because your first property can decide whether you're going to go move on to your second property or third property or
Okay.
stay still at your first property. For example, if you went and bought an apartment in a big complex compared to a home in the suburbs where there's no new land supply around you, then that could have a major difference uh, for the long term. Say over
Mm,
a 10-year period, your apartment could even lose you money. So I've seen that
mm,
happen multiple times. It's the land that appreciates, not the building, and the buildings that depreciate. So the more land size that you do have, the more beneficial it will be for you in the long term, because
mm,
it's not a quick rich scheme. You need a you need to think about long term. If you're thinking short term, property is just not for you. It's over the long term
mm.
is where you create your wealth.
Yeah, I get you. So, I find it interesting that you say that. So right from the get-go, right from your very, very first property, you need to be making sure that you make the right decision. So, I mean, where does it come down to? I mean, like for me, if I said to you, all right, well, I want to live in a specific suburb because I have children that go to school in the area. I mean, how exactly does that work out for me buying my first property? Like, what if the properties that are there don't fit that criteria? I mean, where do we go from there?
Well, obviously, we're there to suit your needs. So, whatever requirements and goals you have, we'll go and search for that property. So, if you're wanting a good schooling zone, we have data on what are the best schools and what are the best locations to buy in. So, we spend over 20,000 just in research alone per year. So uh, we do spend a lot of money just investing time into actually finding those locations that will be beneficial for you to obviously purchase that property, but not only purchase that property, um, obviously create some equity in that property to potentially buy an investment property in the future as well. So
Okay.
we want to have clients for the long term, not just for one property.
And is there any sort of aspect of equity growth that comes into the equation when buying? So you talked about the land value, right? So,
Yeah,
buying a property, I mean, does it make sense? Like, so look, a lot of this stuff I'm already going to know, but I'm going to play devil's advocate, right? For those that may not be as aware or, may not be as savvy, making the right decision, obviously the plan is, especially on your first property, is the plan to purchase a property that will have high equity growth so that way you can leverage that equity later down the track?
absolutely. Capital growth should be your number one factor when investing, because that's what's going to determine whether you go to your next one or the one after that. If you get a good cash flow property, yeah, it might make you $3, $4, $5,000 a year, $10,000 a year, but is it going to be enough to obviously get you into that next property sooner?
Mm,
So yeah, we're all about the capital growth, and then if you get cash flow with it, that's an added bonus as well.
I get you. I get
Yeah,
you. Okay. Okay. Well, you see, Rob, what I mean, there's heaps of them, right? There's plenty of buyers advocates and buyers agents that are out there. What makes you guys more special than everyone else, right? So like that's like, I hate to be blunt when I say that, right? But seriously, what makes you different from everyone else? How do you separate yourself from everyone else, and what kind of experience can people expect coming to you?
yeah, absolutely, and that's a great question, Dean. So what I feel that separates me from other buyers agents is I come from a construction background. So when I'm walking through a property, I know what I'm looking at. I know what materials I'm working with. I know what value I can add to a property. And
Mm,
more importantly, I know what issues may arise as well. Um,
mm,
so I find that really to be really beneficial to my clients. I've done renovations myself and partial renovations for my clients as well. So I'm across sort of what value I can add to extract that equity and go again as well with not overcapitalizing, which is really important as well.
okay. So like, would you say that you're not only like a buyer's advocate and agent, but would you say that there's like a longer term, are you working with people longer term on an ongoing basis to continually add more value into their properties and start making recommendations? Like, is there more to you guys than just that? Like,
Absolutely. Like I'm getting so sorry. I'm getting repeat clients as we speak. So my clients are coming back to me. They've seen the results that we're being getting. So they're wanting to come back to buy their second, third properties with us.
mm,
So it's just a testament to what we do. We also track their portfolio using a game plan platform that it's pretty much a platform where they can input all their financials into a platform, and as well as that, add all their properties into the portfolio. So they have all their financials and properties on the one platform. They don't have to leave that platform to um to so what it does, uh, basically it gives you a 30-year plan on when you can purchase your next property, when you can go buy that new car, when you can go on holiday, or ultimately when you can retire off your passive income. So
mm,
I find that to be a real asset to my clients, as not many other buyers agents do that in Australia.
that's so I kind of like this, right? Because for me, look, I am what they call a chaos conductor, right?
Yeah,
So I'm in a situation where I don't plan. Planning's just not in my vocabulary. It just doesn't exist.
yeah, I've noticed
Um,
that.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, I heavily rely on other people to do the planning for me, right? So like, in a situation like that, I mean, that's kind of like music to my ears because for starters, I am busy. And so, being as busy as I am, I don't want to deal with all the inner workings and details of property investing. And, I'm in a situation where, having a plan of like, okay, on year 3, that's when we, pull out some equity and make another acquisition and so and so and so and so. That would help me immensely. You know what I mean? Because And that is like, there's a lot of people out there that are in the same boat as me, where they're either time poor or they have a short attention span. Right?
A lot
Where
of people just want things done for them, and they don't have to worry about anything. Obviously,
yeah,
investing is to be treated like a business at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah,
Um,
that's right.
so yeah, it is really beneficial when you're obviously time poor and you can't be spending all these hours just tracking what's going on in your portfolio. So it does
Mm.
give you a good overview of everything that's happening, what's going in and what's going out, which is really important.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, it makes like you've got me thinking now, right? Because I'm like, this makes a lot of sense to me, right? Actually, there's one thing I do want to cover before I forget.
Yeah, no
Is
worries.
there's a lot of stigma, right, around buyers agents as well, and the stigma has come with some of those property agents, you know, selling properties that are in line with a building developer's interest to get kickbacks, right? Now, if you turn around to me and Rob and say, "Yes, we do that, but maybe you do it strategically," that's cool. I love that. But that's definitely something that I'd like to address. That I'm sure a lot of other people that are watching are also going to want to address. You know, how does that currently fit in with your business as well? Are you on the hunt for properties that actually suit people's needs, or are you just getting properties because it puts more money in your pocket? Where do you fit into that picture?
Yeah, and that's a really good question. And where I fit into that is I don't take any clips off any developers, anything like that. Typically, I'm dealing in established properties where you won't get a kickback from any developers. That's typically you're working in the off the plan stuff, um, new house and land packages, where I don't really feel that, in my opinion, is in the best interest of the clients in most scenarios.
Mm,
You're If you're buying a house and land, you're typically on less square meterage of land. You're typically maybe in 300 square meters. The house has already been built to specification, so you can't value add anywhere as well. And pretty much the developer's already taken most of the premium out of the profits anyway. So
mm,
I don't really see it as a benefit to my clients. So that's why I only deal with established properties where I
mm,
know I can add value and create equity myself, not by waiting or relying on the market to do something, which is
mm.
important. I can do it on my own. I don't have to rely on the market.
That's good. That's good, right? Because, like I said, there's going to be so many people that are going to be watching this, and they're going to have that burning question and be like, "Is he one of those guys that just, have done deals with builders, right?"
Look, I
So,
get it all the time, but yeah, I don't take any kickbacks from anyone. So I'm honest, trustworthy. I'm pretty transparent, so I'll tell you how it is. And if I can't help you, I can't help you. But that's
mm,
that's just the way I am. We're not all built the same. We're not all built the same.
that's right. That's exactly right, man. Couldn't agree more. I could
Yeah,
not agree more. Hey, on the topic of building, right? You know, so you've come from a construction background, and now you're a buyer's agent and a buyer's advocate. So, what happened there? Was there? I know it's like some stories, like people have injuries and then they had to figure something else out. I know that's the
yeah,
same as my story, right? So I mean, where does it fit in for you? What happened?
yeah. I'm sure, like, I can relate to a lot of tradies. But pretty much what happened is I wanted to use my mind more than I wanted to use my body. Um,
Mm,
as you would probably know, obviously you're grinding from 7 o'clock to sometimes 5:30, 6 o'clock. You're not getting home to 7 o'clock at night. So really, it was more about the flexibility. For me, having such a young family as well, um, providing flexibility, I can sort of pick them up from childcare or whatnot, and
mm,
have a little bit more time with them while they're young as well. Um, so pretty much, yeah, I've always been passionate about property since I bought my first property maybe over 10 years ago now.
mm.
And I've just been at it, and I've been adding it to it ever since. So, yeah, pretty much it was just to get out of well, typical 9 to 5, but for us, it's maybe 7 to 5. So getting
Yeah,
out of the
yeah.
7 to 5 grind is why I've opened my own company, and yeah, we're independent from everyone else. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I got out of construction, and now I'm loving what I'm doing, and I'm really passionate about property.
That's good. And the thing is as well is that a lot of other people that are going to be listening to this, what you're helping them do is achieve a similar goal, because I often think that sometimes I miss out on some really special moments with my kids, and I have heard of many people that have found that freedom through property. So, like the fact that they were able to find that freedom through property, property investing and building up their portfolio, so they could spend more time with family and do the things that they wanted because their properties were paying them. You know what I mean? So, like even then, so like your story of going from construction to being a buyer's agent and a buyer's advocate is one of those things where you're sharing that opportunity, the same opportunity that you took, not moving to become a buyer's agent, but making the jump for a personal cause, like spending more time with family. You are helping people do that, are you not?
Absolutely. There's nothing better than obviously securing a property for a client, and seeing the look on their face, or giving them a call and going, look, we got it under contract.
How good.
Yeah, there's no better feeling than that, and you know that you're helping them create wealth, and avoiding costly mistakes as well, in the process, because
Mm,
sometimes it could cost you a couple 100,000 in the long run, at the very minimum as well. So yeah,
mm.
um, it's just about avoiding mistakes, and really helping people, and people that are just unfamiliar with the process and are not sure what they're doing, and they don't want to overpay. Um, we just help them, and that's, yeah, the best part of my job.
I love that, man. I really love that. Let's go into more about who Rob is, right? So I don't know, for some reason, for me, I feel like you used to be like a footy player or something like that. Were you ever into sports?
Funny you say that. I've played soccer since I was 9 years old. So
Oh, wow.
played from 9 till my first one was born. So maybe 3 years ago, I retired. Um,
Wow.
yeah, played pretty high up. So yeah, that's another one of my passions. Whenever I can, I watch sports. I love doing that in my downtime. So
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's now you're like, oh, am I missing out? But yeah, it's about the family first now, and not
Yeah,
about
yeah.
yourself. I'm sure you can relate.
And your 3-year-old now, it's three, they're three and a half, 3 years old now, right?
Yeah, I've got a 3.5, and just over 18 months as well.
Boys,
So
girls,
I've got a boy and a girl.
you're
So
lucky.
boy's Leonardo, and my girl is Lana.
Okay, and the boy was first, the girl was second, or
Correct.
okay, so you're lucky. You got the shotgun in the boy, So
Yeah,
it's I
we
don't
can
know if
ask
you've
for
heard
the
the
little one.
saying, right? The
But
the
in saying
saying
that,
of
the little one beats up the big one. So
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I don't, because I've got two daughters, right? So when I look at that, I go, I've got to buy a shotgun, because if someone's not breaking their hearts, I'm gonna have to be breaking someone's bones, right? That's the way I look at it,
I don't want to
right?
even think that far ahead. We'll deal with it when it comes.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Well,
Yeah,
hey, look, going back to property, like, you know, because for me, it just making an investment or buying property right now just doesn't, there's something about it just doesn't add up. Like, so I've looked into getting back into the property market and stuff like that, but there's just something about it that's just really pulling me back. And it's not interest rates, it's just things like has to be the current state. You know what I mean? It has to be the current state of the property market in Australia. You
yeah.
know, what do you think the current state of it is right now, and why do you think some buyers are holding back?
Yeah, well, I get this on a daily. Like, just a lot of buyers are just procrastinating and just holding off. What are the interest rates going to do? What are they not going to do?
Mm.
So pretty much my predictions for 2024 would be, I see, well, because I'm from Melbourne, so we'll talk about Melbourne a little bit first. That we are in a bit of a recovery here in Melbourne. We did see a little dip last year, but
Mm-hmm.
I do see, because we got such shortage in homes, the government has sort of agreed to build all these new homes, but I just can't see it happening in time. So we're in a
Mm.
real shortage at the moment, on top of a rental crisis, which is not helping obviously the renters, because obviously your landlords are putting your rents up as well. So I'm finding that obviously with my investor clients, the top performing markets that I believe in 2024 will
Mm.
be Perth. I still see that it's had a couple of years of growth, but all the economy is diversified over there now. So we're really seeing a, pretty much every mum and dad, every investor just flocking to Perth, and properties are just going under market in one day. So as soon as they come online, within one day, it's already got 20 offers on it. That's how
Yeah.
hot the
Wow.
market is over there. But I do see still another year to 2 years of growth there. What I
Mm.
also am seeing is a lot of people are looking at regional centres at the moment. And the
Mm.
market that I am seeing is doing well is regional Queensland at the moment. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so there is a couple of spots there where there's massive infrastructure spend, heaps of migration, flock into those regional centres. So it is
Mm-hmm.
another one to look out for in 2024. Absolutely. What There's one other capital city that I would probably recommend, and that would be Brisbane. In 2032, the Olympics are coming to Brisbane, so they're going to pretty much start their infrastructure projects this year or next year, just to get ready for that 2032 um, Olympics. And what we saw from the last Olympics in Sydney, house prices did come up leading into the Olympics. So it would be ideal, obviously, to get into Brisbane now.
Mm.
It's having a bit of a resurgence at the moment. It did have a good run in COVID, dropped off for a bit, but now we're seeing it pick up again as well. So those are the markets that I really see are going to do well this year. So yeah, if you're an investor, those are the markets I'd be looking at the moment.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Rob, mate, thank you so much, for your time on the show today. It was very insightful, and it was I was actually really excited to hear about all the different things, and yeah, like there's a lot to think about, right? So yeah, now I mean, what's my key takeaways is just having someone on my side that, you know, I feel like wouldn't be emotionally invested like I would be, so I could stay away from the emotions and you could focus on the facts. I think that's one key takeaway that I get from this conversation. Would I be right in saying that? You know?
Absolutely. It happens, obviously, the most common time it happens is at auction. You
Mm.
People just bid 10, 20, 30. Before you know it, they're already 50K over their budget.
It's an
So,
extra. It's only an extra 10. It's only an extra 10. It's only
yeah,
an extra 10.
exactly.
How many
You
times
got
can you
the
say
real
that?
estate
Yeah.
agents in your ear. Yeah, just
Yeah.
couple more, just couple more, and obviously they end up overpaying. So that's why we're there. We know all the tricks that real estate agents play. We speak the same language, so we obviously can get you the best deal, and we'll potentially, hopefully, get you that before auction as well.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, we're there to help, and yeah, anyone that wants to, feel free to reach out.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so much for your time. And like I said, what my key takeaways are: having someone on your side that's not emotionally invested, they can think logically. I think some of the other components is, I'm time poor, so that'd be something great that I definitely would look into. There's people online that have courses that teach you how to buy things yourself. But even for me, I'm just like, you know what? I don't have the time to go through a course. Rob, can you go out there? Can you just find something for me, and you let me know when it's, when it's there and when it works, and we'll go and make the money work.
Absolutely.
And
we're there to save you stress and save you time at the end of the day.
that's exactly right.
We only present you properties that we know are ready to go and fit your brief and an investment grade as well.
Absolutely. So there's that. And I love the planning side of things. So, like, being able to draw up a plan that says, we're going to do this from, at this point in time, we're going to go and take out equity and buy another investment. So the whole long-term planning that comes with working with someone like you, I think that would probably be one of the main reasons why I'd want to work with you as well. So, it's awesome, man. I love that. That sounds really good. Hey, yes, I'm talking to you, and I know it looks like the interview, but it's actually not. We're taking a really quick, short break so that way you can hear me out. I really want you to hear me out here. If you are a business owner, you are building your personal brand. I mean, you could be anyone. You could be a real estate agent. You could be an astronaut, an IT professional. It really doesn't matter who you are and where you fit into the world. This interview is great for you. If you're really struggling to make content, and let's face it, right? When we get our phones out and we're like, taking selfies and doing videos that way, it just comes across as inauthentic. And the other side of that as well is the fact that it's just so hard to come up with ideas of what kind of content to create. And this is where our interviews absolutely bring a powerhouse and an arsenal of, basically a war chest in terms of your organic content marketing that you're creating. We create the TikToks and Reels for you. Here's the thing. I've got some great news. The great news is that this interview is completely free. We boost your SEO on Google because we go and feature these videos like the one you're watching on YouTube. And not only that, but we also give you free content to post to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all the rest of it as well. So if you haven't already, in the description down below is a link to Linktree where you'll see the opportunity for you to book your very own interview and get free content for your personal brand or your business as well. I'll see you on the other side of the screen. Rob, was there anything else, before we wrap up the interview, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, pretty much before I go, like, I wanted to give a little gift away to obviously your listeners on your platforms. So pretty much, if you're Melbourne based, you are within 30 kilometers of Melbourne CBD, and you're wanting to purchase a property right now or in the very near future, I'm willing to give not one, but two lucky people the opportunity to use a buyer's advocate. So what I mean by that is, for a day, I'm going to bid at auction on your behalf. And the best part about it is I'll do it for free. So this is valued at $1,250. So times that by two, I'm giving away today $2,500 in value. No strings attached whatsoever. So the first two to reach out will win this gift. So I'll conduct comparable market analysis reports for you. So we know exactly what we're going to spend if we're going to auction, and what will come up, what strategies are we going to use for game day, and I can teach you some tips and tricks when at auction. And if we're not successful on the day, at least you can take some of those learnings and use them for your next purchase.
That's awesome. Rob, thank you so much, man. That's amazing. So guys, if you are listening, you might want to head on over to luxbuyersagents.com.au and get in touch with Rob. First two people that fit that criteria of being 30 kilometers from Melbourne radius. That's correct, 30 kilometers radius from Melbourne. Correct. So if you fit that criteria, first two people to reach out are going to get a buyer's agent on their behalf at auction. And both of those are valued at $1,250. So guys, I'd jump on that pretty quick.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
I really appreciate you having me, and glad to join anytime you'll have me.
And if anyone wants to reach out, I mean, how can they find you?
Pretty much, yeah. My website's luxbuyersagents.com.au. Pretty simple. you can just fill out the contact form on my website, and yeah, I'll give you a call back.
Absolutely. And can they find you on any socials or anything like that?
Absolutely. I'm on everything pretty much. You can get me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, those are LinkedIn, pretty much all the main ones I'm on. So yeah.
Yep. So Lux Buyers Agents on all of those platforms as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Lux
Love
Buyers
it.
Agents on all those platforms. Nice
Love
and
it. Brilliant. Well, Rob, thank you so much for your time, mate. Truly appreciate it. And, for all of you that are listening at home, if you do want to reach out to Rob directly as well, feel free to email us. It's support@launchday.au, and we'd be happy to put you in touch. And thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the next episode.